Hello, I'm filmmaker Archie Wright.
And I'm ball painter Tim Baker, and this is the Shrove Tide Podcast.
They all play hard, they all play well, but there's always stories to be told. That is why I have the great honor to say, Archie Wright and Tim Baker, are you ready for the stories? Who will the guest be today? When the ball is robbed in red, white and blue, and the Englishman tries his best, the players get stories, which is why we are here. Archie Wright and Tim Baker. Who is the guest today?
We're now with Darren Waring, who goaled a ball in 1996. So what got you first interested in Shrove Tide?
Well, as an Ashburnian, I think anybody who's interested in some sort of sport will be interested in Shrove Tide. My first memory of Shrove Tide, introduction to Shrove Tide, believe this or not, was when I was at Parkside School, and I stood in the corner of the playground, and three of my school friends came up to me. And there was Jason Chussie Clues, Alan Fred Smith, and Darren Tedman Hanley. And they walked up to me and they said to me, "Dad, do you play Shrove Tide?" I said, yeah. So well, I could play then. So we played Shrove Tide in the playground. And then he said to me, "Dad, which way do you play?" And I went, "Well, how do you know?" He says, "Well, which way you ball?" So I said, "Oh, ball there, maternity home."
Oh, like me.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, you're an upward." So I played. Now, so we played Shrove Tide that day, proud upward. Still took the ball off him, it was easy then. And then this was like a defining moment in my life, this was, as a 7-year-old. Because my dad, I went home at night, I was sat there at the table, and just imagine my dad as one of them blokes who newspaper, you know the score, all same parents and everything. And I went, "Mum, Dad, are we uppers or downers?" And the next 1 minute kind of changed my life a bit, because my dad stopped. My dad didn't stop for anybody.
No.
You know, he was having dinner, that was it. The only time he stopped was to pick the phone up for work, that's it. And he stopped mid-eating, he goes, and he said with a passion, "We're Downers, all Warings are Downers." And I think, whoa, like this. And my mum was cutting the bread, she stopped, she goes, "We're Downers, aren't we, Richard?" He went, "Yes, we're Downers," like that. I went, wow.
Had you said to your dad that you said you were an upper?
Well, the next conversation was, "Well, my mate said I'm an upper because I'm born at maternity home." And it says, and then Dad kicked straight back into dad mode. "How the bloody hell can you be a bloody upper? Everyone born in that bloody maternity home, you should follow your bloody family. It's a common sense, that is." And I got the dad back then.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we had a bit of a conversation about how you meant to be, which way you play, and he says it was where you were born, but he says everyone born maternity home, so you should follow your family. There's lots of uppers who should follow their family, that's all the story. So I went back to school the next day, saw the lads, "Actually, lads, we're down." They all turned around and walked off. And that is a true.
I have a question for you, Dan. Going to the game itself, the proper game. You know, not thinking about all the years you played yourself. What's your earliest memory as a kid?
That's easy. I was about 10, I think 9, 10, when my mum took me round. And I can remember she walked up Bellevue Road, and we come up Dark Lane. As we come up Dark Lane, the ball came down past us.
Wow.
I just saw heaven. I just saw God. And then me chasing the ball, and my mum grabs me. She said, "No, come here, no, come here.
Pulled you away from it, like.
Next minute, and massive bodies came flying past, and you know that's one of my first earliest memories. Great memory, and another early memory was pretty hilarious. You remember when they used to turn the ball off the flatbed?
I do.
Yeah. And one year, we stood right behind the flatbed lorry, and the bloke who turned the ball up threw it backwards, and it landed straight at my feet.
Tell you what year that was. It was 1976,
Yeah.
and it was Dennis Small.
Was it Dennis
Yes,
Small?
It was. He took the ball off
Yeah.
right back. And I don't think it wasn't intentional. He took it right back to throw it, and he went that way.
That way,
Took
yeah.
everybody by surprise.
Yeah, and I'll never forget. And I'm going for the ball. My mum's got me.
And scruffing it.
And she's going that way, and I'm going through mid-air, feet off the ground, and all these blokes pulling down. So that's another early memory. And I was very young then. So, yeah.
Even as a kid, you were trying to play stroke tide.
Well, yeah. Obviously, the reality is you don't know how tough it was or how strong it was. I suppose the first memory of actually playing was when I was about 13, I think, in the Hawk, and you always have to get paint on your nails. You have to prove it. Get paint on your nails. And I can remember, I'll never forget this moment. Oh, yeah, I remember it now. It's like some nightmares. One of the loungers within I can remember Ernie Grant was in the river, and some of the old school, and one of the loungers. And I've asked people which one it is, and I get conflicting stories, but he had ginger hair. He had ginger. And he had whiskers like nails.
Really?
And I went in, just stuck my head in, right, and I stuck my head up thinking I'm something Mr. Wonderful, and all he did was he ran his whiskers up against my face like that, and I kid you not, the scratch marks. I couldn't have got it worse if they dragged me through a blackthorn bush.
Really?
And I came out, and I was absolutely made up. I paint on my fingernails. I was wet through. I got marks all over the place. You think, I thought I'd Mr. Wonderful. I don't know why, but our game of 30 seconds of show died at 13 years old.
So keeping that in mind then, these are all young players, haven't you? Archie's thinking of playing, aren't you?
Yeah.
What is it like? What advice would you give to some young lad who's thinking for the first time of playing trophy time?
Definitely pick your targets, pick your place. You've got to. The hub's that big now. It's that big. For me personally, it's got to be in the fields or on a bank, in the river, where the hub's a little bit smaller.
Right.
Slow moving, I think
So
it's
think
safe.
for that one, mate.
Yeah. It's always good to be, I would find it easy to get in on the banks. So when the hook collapses, it naturally rolls down. That's another easy way to get in for young kids. The only downside now is the hook's that big. I'm not too sure how I suppose as I get older and, not strong or fit anymore, I'm thinking to play the game in a certain way that suits me. But for a young lad like me, he should be fit and strong and should be, how old are you?
I'm 15.
15, yeah. So at 15, I was in the river.
So I was just wondering, who are your influences in Shrovetide and influence you to play?
Oh dear. So, as a young lad, I can remember talking to my dad about Shrovetide, and this is when the first time I'm going to get in the river, and my dad says, be careful, it's a rough game, son, there's some people you need to watch out for. And he goes, the Loungers and the Harrisons, okay, he says, the hard men, so just be careful. He says, and I think Guy, because my dad knew Guy, he said, I think Guy got a son called Harry. So I'm thinking, who's this Harry? And I didn't realise his name was Mark and everything. And so there's no denying that Harry was an influence to me, because there's one or two things he actually, I don't think he meant to show me in Shrovetide, it just happened naturally as you're teaching people to play. But a funny story was, I can remember playing rugby when I was about 15, and sat in the changing room getting changed, and Paul King was there. You remember Paul?
Yeah.
And Paul shouts over, "Hey up, Barry, chip us out something or whatever." And he sat next to me, and Harry Eccles sat right next to me, and I go,
Wow.
I do something, Harry Eccles, like this.
And of course, through your playing, you got to know him really well.
Absolutely. I mean, neighbours godfather to my children, brother, and I know brother really well. But it's the point is, and anyway, so I got playing, and I got to play with him. and they're great. But you know, even though there's one or two things, Harry sort of, well, he does tell me how to do things. He sort of gave me the confidence to do things.
To carry it through.
It was okay to do, to do.
Yeah.
You know, you can imagine one or two things what they were, but but there's also other influences. One of the most inspiring things I think I've seen in Shrovetide once was Rue, and we was at the bus station, and we get at the bus station on Compton, and I can remember he picked the ball up and he ran down the wall side, the bank side of the wall. And I'll never forget, so let's just say I was this distance away from him, in this room. He picked it up, and as he ran, this was superb what he did. He knew when to pick it up, run, chuck it on the floor, kick it, pick it up again, run, and while he did it, I watched him punch and kick the 7 bells of the proverbial out of him. And I eventually ran close to this, so I ran over and I banged a few. But Rue managed to get from the beginning of the bus station, and he got to where the gates were, where you're going to Bacchanal.
Really?
Yeah, he got that far. It took about, I don't know, what, 40 seconds, maybe a minute, I don't know. And it was absolutely, he knew exactly when to pick it up. He knew when the punches were coming, he chucked it down, he booted it against, and he kept it against the wall. And I can remember watching that and went, flipping heck. That was really, really inspiring.
Really inspiring.
And, you know, I mean, Paddy Kerr is another one, but, you know, I've only ever been there once, I think, maybe twice, definitely once, where I saw Paddy run down the field and went over an edge. And he went over this edge, and he left everyone standing. And he went over
when he
the
got
edge.
the ball, you could never see.
So I mean, Paddy's an excellent friend of mine, very good friend.
Yeah.
But so you see, so who, and there's lots of the people I've watched over the years. My mates who have played, you know, my schoolmates who play Shrovetide. To be honest, if we're going to be honest, everyone inspires me because I see that person doing that, I think, you know, I can do that. And I see that person doing that, well, I'm going to do that. And I see that. So I've never tried to be a one-trick pony. I tried to be, you know,
draw from lots of
everything, you know. So over the years, both uppers and downers, if we're going to pick out the best who have inspired me, I'm going to have to go with Harry and Paddy, Rue, the uppers, and Mark Kennedy, as far as I'm concerned, was the best upper I've seen. Geordie Etherington, Lenny Lyons was an excellent leader, brilliant to get the ball out of the hook. I mean, I can go on about my schoolmates, you know, Leach, Fliss, Algie, you know, I can go on about them, but I played with them more, so it's a bit more difficult to be inspired by them. Right. You know, I was kind of inspired, I suppose, by all the people. So yeah, I've seen some pretty impressive people over the years, some passionate people over the years. Yeah, but if you're going to apply inspiration, I don't make haircuts head too big, but yeah, I think he was the one who sort of gave me the okay. Yeah. It's okay to do it.
Cool.
And that was the sort of way I would have thought. So all the trouble I've got in Shrovetide, I'm very happy.
So did you ever think you'd actually goal the ball?
That's a good question and a very arrogant answer to come. Yes, I did. I trained a lot. I still train now a lot. That's what I'm doing. And I was fit, I was strong, and if I had to gold my ball in '96, I would gold one at another time. I never would. I was. I think it's difficult to ask that question to somebody. Did you ever think you gold the ball? Because there are people out there who I think should have gold balls and haven't. You know, and that's unfair. I think sometimes you have to push the boundaries. I don't think there's people who help me goal the ball. I have people help me, obviously. But it's if you're going to play Shrovetide as a proper passionate Shrowetider, if you think you're not going to goal one, for me, you're not a Shrowetider. You've got to go thinking, this is my year. I'm going to give everything I've got. or start the process of playing for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then see where it goes. But for me personally, I never thought I wouldn't get one. So it happened.
On the day you did go one, did you say to yourself, "This is my ball"?
No, not that day. No, no, that's a different situation. How I was going to goal it, I didn't know. That's something I didn't know what we was going to do. No, I don't think anyone could predict that. Unless you're a runner, can pick it up and run off right, group bagging and sort of people. They have a bit more. They're in a bit more control of their destiny. Whereas me as a Hull player, the River player, I suppose my destiny is to actually get in the draws in other people's hands. So luckily for me, I had Steve Bull, the landlord of the wheel. He drew my straw, and luckily it was, I won it. So, but that day, no, I never thought for 1 minute, I'm going to go. No, I never thought that for 1 second.
And also as well, it's not easy when you goal it because we're in this big spell of upward dominance, aren't we? So there's not a lot of balls going to Clifton. So that automatically, hasn't it, has cut down your chances.
Absolutely.
It's not like you goaled it in 1986 when it was always going down.
That's right, yeah,
so
that's
it was
right,
harder,
yeah.
wasn't it?
When I got my ball in 96, the next day Scooby Wright got his ball, and then it was Thurston for the next 5 years until Navy goaled his.
Yeah.
That was demoralising, but that's Shropshire sport, isn't it? But yeah, you can't really predict everything in Shropshire. You can predict some things, but you can't predict everything. But it's as for goal the ball, I think the only people who can potentially say I'm having it are those who are on the runners, who can potentially say I can pick this up, I'm off, I'm having it. Martin Taylor, for example, last year, he was on fire. He was very fractured last year, Martin was, and I wasn't surprised he goaled it.
So obviously you're a passionate Downer, we know that, everybody in Ashbourne knows that. Obviously this year, 2025, the Downers won 1-0, and I think on the Wednesday they did it even better. Bringing the ball back from several fields from Sturston, but he didn't get gold, obviously. Do you think that the Downers are more getting their act together slightly, or are they more fired up? What do you think?
Right, blimey, right. So this is going to be interesting. So when we were getting beaten by the Uppers, so when we were getting destroyed by the Uppers, not beaten, we were getting destroyed. The Uppers will have you believe that they had a better game plan. But I can tell you now, they outnumbered us.
Right.
They outnumbered us tenfold. It was ridiculous. All those generations of people born in the maternity home, all came through, and it's still there for today. However, the maternity home shut down 30 years ago, and everyone born in Derby. So as you can see, when you speak to most people or you go to schools, I still ask this question, so I don't go to the schools anymore, but I still ask this question, and when they put their hands up, it's drifting to Downers. More Downers hands. I've actually been there when they said, who's the Downers? They put 2 people.
I've been there.
Yeah, you've both been there, haven't we? So we are we getting better together? I think, I personally don't like the way the Uppers play their game. It's too organised.
Right.
Okay, I'm not a fan of that. I love it when the ball goes missing. I like a bit more spontaneous. That's how I see the game should be played. When Tate got his ball, I can remember some dads complaining, that's a really boring game. I said, no, that's straight time. That was beautiful. That's how it should be played. Sneak up with it, and no one's got a clue what's happening.
Like it always used to be.
It used to be, always used to be. So Tate's one of my favourite balls back in gold. Kev Clark's my favourite ball scorer, for other reason. But it's, so are we getting all that together? I suppose the confidence factor has to come into it, doesn't it? When you've actually got a fair fight, then your confidence is there, and then you can start putting a game plan together. When you're getting beat up all the time, you sometimes think, what's the point? I mean, I don't think that. I just think, let's have more fight and just see what happens. That's how I see it. Let's just keep going. You never know what happens, but a lot of people aren't like that. So as for are we getting our act together, in one aspect, yes, but also the numbers are coming through. So, but I mean, for example, if we can beat them this year, like we 1-0, there's no argument for next year.
Right.
So if the uppers do come back, for example, if the uppers come back and beat us next year, then they have beat us fair game. You know, they've come back, they've set their game plan in, they've done it.
Right.
Okay. So, but as in the hub, the uppers are definitely dominant in the hub.
Right.
They are still dominant in the hub. They have got more major hub players. But like I say, we're all getting older, everyone gets older. You know, Stuart Lehman, superb stroke tider, absolutely one of the best I've played with and against. I can see him getting older. You know,
Yeah, we're all
as I get older,
days,
you don't necessarily see yourself. And I see Stuart's leadership waning a little bit because he's getting older. He still leads from the front, can't fault with you. It was in the thick of it this year. I watch diligently what they're doing. I'm there watching it. But you know, things change, and someone else has got to take over the mantle. I think it'll be Barry Swan. He's another excellent, superb upper. But has he got that leadership?
Right.
Has he got that leadership? Stuart's been a pretty dominant leader for the uppers for the last 10, 15 years,
Right.
so hasn't he? He's been very dominant, been very good at what he does. You've got to admire how he does it. You know, we had him with haircut in the Downs, didn't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he was a great captain of a ship. We don't vote them in. I think natural leaders should come to the top.
They're inspiring, aren't they?
He inspired me. You know, he inspired me. Haircut inspired me to play. You know, play. He taught me more than what you can imagine, actually. So when you see, are we organised? Yes, we are. Yes, we're getting better. But it all comes down to a confidence thing. They've got to believe in themselves. It's as simple as that. You've done it once, you can do it again.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is taking your foot off the gas. You've only got to look in sport. You've only got to look at Liverpool. They won the league last year. They took the foot off the gas. Look where they've gone.
Yeah,
you know, now they just put the foot back on the
It can
gas.
soon crumble, can't
It can soon go very quickly.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it did. It did. Just like
Overnight. Yeah, absolutely.
So we are getting there, but I never ever predict.
No.
Okay.
I am a downer, I make no secret to that fact. And I've been painting the balls nearly for 37 years. And what I've sort of noticed in the time span, in all the years I've done it, I've never seen any kind of downer dominance, just an odd flash in the pan year, you know, it's kind of like, and when I was a young lad, it was always going to Clifton. I think the only time I ever saw a goal scored at Sturston was when Steve got goal in 1984. And I was so, didn't know where I was going, because obviously you could go to Clifton at the back of your hand because you were also there, but I didn't know where I was going to Sturston. Where am I going?
You mean both?
Yeah, where do I go for the goal? And some women had to point it. And I only got there and he gold it on that spin.
Yeah.
And I only just got there as the cheer went up, you know, when I was only 11.
So do you remember Alan Kingston climbing up the top
I
of the ball?
doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they were hell, weren't they?
Yeah, they was, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, after dominance, you're right. After '96, we got my ball. Did I take the foot off the gas? Now I think the dominance came in.
The dominance started to creep in the early 90s.
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
it? I think with like Nick Wright and Rob
So
Godfrey,
coming
like
through,
that,
yeah. Yeah.
started coming through.
But it's more of them as well.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
more.
yeah.
I can remember once doing up Belper Road, and we were obviously playing this down up Belper Road, and I can remember a neighbour saying to me, "Dad, I've looked around," and I just came out the for a second, so I had a quick look around and says, "Where are the diamonds?" And I can remember looking in the fields, looking everywhere, looking all over, and I think we could count 20 downers. 20 downers in the hub there. You know, everyone was an upward. Everyone was an upward everywhere, you can see. Now, obviously, it's changing, so let's just see what happens. You know,
Absolutely.
see how it goes.
I've got a question about going back to goal scoring. If you had the opportunity, say you was at the goal, and someone passed you the ball to goal, would you goal another one?
Yeah.
So, Darren, why do you think, going back what Archie said, why do you think people goaling more than one ball has sort of died out now?
I would say on the basis that if you go back, let's see, it was that person got 2 goals with Paul Armstrong. Yeah, okay, so that's in the 70s, isn't it? Yeah. So I would say if you go back, it was that person got 3 goals, isn't it? Piggy, yeah, Piggy. And also that 50s, 60s, 50s, 60s, yeah, okay. So I would say that in the anyone who played sport in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they were the fit people.
Right.
Okay? So, and there were less people playing, the town was smaller,
Mm-hmm.
less obstructions.
Yeah.
So they pick the ball up, boom, off they go. They run off. Okay? That's one thing. I think there were more families and more clans then. Bigger families sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they could back the families up to get the balls. But I also think that Shrovetide has become, over the years, a little bit too sterile
Right.
for my liking.
Okay.
And that is, people have now got this obsession, you can't have two balls, well, I think, or yours are.
There's no rule.
There's no rule.
No.
Exactly. And I think anybody who doesn't want to go a second or third ball is, I just think, right, you got your first ball, you're passionate, man. It's a travesty, absolute travesty. Paddy Kerr has only got one ball. Paddy Kerr was dominant for the down.
David Owenworth.
Rue. Well, he's actually ran in before now after he got his first ball, got to the goal, he had to run back out. He didn't want a second, he said, but Rue, another one.
Yeah.
But it's superb players. As far as I tell you what, I put it this way: Ronaldo and Messi, best players in the world. Okay, they win the Ballon d'Or or whatever. Are they only allowed to win one?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, they've won. They've
5 and 8.
Yeah.
So if you're a good player, if you're dominant at that time, if you've been dominant for a few years, if you can get around and get away with it, why shouldn't you have someone to inspire everyone else to move forward? I think when you say you get one ball and that's it, what you're doing then is cutting your head off. You're cutting you just cutting your head off.
When you think about it, if you goal more than one ball, then you go down in history as
A better player,
better player.
Yeah, and possibly a jealousy thing as well.
My uncle Joseph got 7.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he was 11 when he got his first one.
Crikey.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, second and third, but I think if someone is good enough to get off and run it and goal it, you go for it. You won't get any money from me.
Right, Darren. So I have a question for you. In your opinion, up or down, just generally, what makes a good Shrovetider?
I would say passion. That's the only way I can say, because I can't say people who train hard, because I train hard, and there are lots of people who train hard. I can't say it's anything to do with toughness or I can't. I've just got passion. You've got to have that heart and soul to be able to play the game. I mean, I can imagine some people who hardly ever trained, but they're fit from work or just fit people.
Or from playing sport.
Playing sports, that sort of thing. So I would say for me, it's the passion. You got to love it.
And the passion just doesn't have to be for players, does it? Look at me. I've
Oh,
got
no.
passion for Shrovetider like everybody else. I don't play it.
Oh no,
So
no.
I put my time into the painting of it, researching it. You know,
I'm a firm believer that as much as you've got people playing the game and love the game, who goal the balls and something like that. Like the women, they are equally passionate. You look at Bev Oakley. She's a pit bull.
Yeah.
You know, if she was a bloke, I don't think we'd lose.
she'll have loads of balls out of
Yeah, you know,
I just have loads in the room.
absolutely, and that's my point. So it isn't a male-dominated passion. It's a male-dominated game because obviously we're stronger. It's rough, you know. So you're going to come on to next about women turning balls and everything, aren't you? You can see it coming.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Go for it. But who? Because the one thing I don't want is a woman to turn the ball up for the sake of being a woman.
No.
Right.
If it's got to be, if you're going to, I mean, it's been done before in the past anyway, so it's not a great big thing to do. It's not great, was it Mrs. Woolley and Mrs.
Just Mrs. Woolley, that's the only one with that.
Yeah, Mrs. Woolley.
Women were asked, but they didn't come.
That's
Lisa
right.
Fields was asked in 1936, but she didn't come.
Yeah.
Amy Johnson was asked in 1933, but she didn't come. Yeah.
And I think that's probably why they stopped asking them.
Well, I don't know. I think
There may be a bit of sexism.
I think I've got to agree there, Timo.
Yeah.
I think, did we miss an opportunity with Phyllis Stubbs?
I'd say so.
Yes, did we miss an opportunity with Lady Hilton?
I'd say
Because
so.
when her husband died, she kept on donated, didn't she?
She was a big
You know,
supporter.
And I find that, to me personally, I find it disgraceful.
Yeah.
When you got, I can imagine that all the male people who paid towards our game, they've all turned the ball up, I can imagine. I'm only guessing, okay?
Yeah.
And I know Lady Hilton gave money to the game after her husband died, and I'm thinking, why can't she turn the ball up? Why not? And at the end of the day, as a young man, I mean, if ever I got the opportunity to turn the ball up, it would be a major proud day for me if it happened. You know, I don't expect it, because as a young kid, it was all about playing. It's about playing the game. That's all it was. I didn't even know a committee existed.
Right.
I was about 14, 15 when I found out it was a committee to organise a game.
Right.
I just thought the ball turns up magic, poof, you know, after a magic.
So like just happened.
After a magic so tightly, you know, and you know, I didn't admit, and I was about 14 when I realised that someone makes a ball. I can remember seeing about off the channel, and all that, and so yeah.
Can you remember the balls hanging up in Arthur's shop?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Just go and have a look.
Yeah. Loved it. You go in.
You'd missed that, Archie. I didn't get in cellars now, but when we were kids, didn't we, Darren? We were in Arthur Travis, and if you went in, you'd let your old
touch it, thinking, oh my God, you know, freeze. You literally freeze. So, as for people turning the ball up, women, go for it. But I just don't want it to be for the sake of.
On the back of turning balls up, because you're similar age, slightly older, do you remember Brian Clough turning the ball up?
I can remember it happening, but I never saw him do it.
You did.
I can remember it happening.
Yeah.
I can remember my dad talking about it.
Right.
That's 1975, I think.
Correct,
75,
yeah.
I was 7 years old. But I can remember, that might have been one of the years my mum took me. I never saw him do it because he shit himself, didn't
He thought we were hooligans, put it that way.
Yeah, and he just threw the ball.
He just wasn't aware, I don't think.
He had no idea.
There was no internet in those days, so people couldn't go and research it on YouTube.
Yeah.
He just came, I think, thinking he was starting a football game.
Right,
It just wasn't what he thought.
Yeah.
Be a bit of a shock for somebody like Brian.
I thought it would be a bit tougher than that, but either way.
Yeah, because you would have thought being a footballer.
Football,
yeah,
and
take
then
that
as
kind
well.
of-
Yeah. So as for the game and women turning the ball up, if you can find someone worthy, and I'm not saying for 1 minute aren't any worthy women, that's with loads, but flipping heck, I'm glad I'm not choosing it.
Yeah, difficult choice, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in that, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah.
But so cheers for coming today.
Cheers, lads. And just hold your ball up so everybody can see it. This is the ball Darren Gold, made by my uncle Gary Baker, I have to say. Give Gary a plug up. There you go. Brilliant. Cheers, Darren.
Yes, and thank you guys for watching this, and we hope you enjoyed.
And we'll see you for the next podcast.
Diamonds.
There's a town still plays this glorious game, though 'tis but a little spot.